Hi, so my name is Vanessa Short, if you don't already know me, and I wanted to show you a quick video of what I look like without makeup on, which is kind of scary that I'm actually going to post this, but I just have some mascara on. My eyebrows are permanently done, so sometimes I just kind of touch them up a little bit to make them bolder, but there's nothing on them today. So all I have on is the Milk Moisturizer, and I'm just going to show you how quick this can be. I just had a facial, so I don't normally put makeup on right after, but I got my kit today and I wanted to open it later, but I wanted to look a little bit halfway decent. So I'm going to show you what I do when I'm just running errands, and I just don't want to leave the house with nothing on. So I have a really nice giant pimple right there. I've got a couple right here, but actually my skin is pretty good. It's nice and hydrated, which is great. I'm going to use a little bit of primer. This is what I've been using. It's called Face Blur. I got it on Amazon. It wasn't very expensive. It has a SPF 33 in it, which was kind of cool. I noticed when my skin was drier, normally my skin is very dry, I noticed that the makeup went on better without primer. But now that my face is hydrated, this seems to just kind of make everything go on easier. So I just used one pump of that. It wasn't very expensive. I'm thinking it was less than $15. And it's quite a big bottle. But anyway, I'm going to be looking in my mirror here. I'm going to see if I can't. Yeah, there. Maybe that will be easier for you to see. So just put that on. I already let the milk soak in earlier. So super easy, fast. I'll show you the first palette that I bought myself before I signed up to be an artist, which I only did on like Saturday night, by the way. But this was the first palette that I bought. Pretty basic. I started with White Peach, and then I think this is Walnut, Nude, and Pearl Illuminator. The White Peach is pretty good, but I have dark circles, so I ended up using it for about a week, and I really loved the way it felt. I've never worn makeup that felt like I wasn't wearing makeup. So I bought another palette, and then this one I got Aura Moonlit I actually have been putting Aura under my eyes first, then I put a little bit of Moonlit over that concealer. Shadow. And this is Dahlia Blush. And when I show people this, when I'm like, hey, this is what I'm wearing, they're kind of like, what the heck? Because it looks so like it's for super dark skin, and like I'm pretty fair. So this looks like it would be obnoxious on me, but it goes on so beautifully. It mutes out a lot. So I'm going to start really quick. And this is how I've kind of been doing it. I didn't start out this way. I started with contour. Today I'm going to start with the highlight. I just kind of am still figuring out what works best for me. So I'm going to take, oh, I know what I will tell you. I kind of snuck into my kit and I took out the Sunlit just to try for my under eye dark circles, and I think that it's going to be the ticket. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that right there. For me, I'm a major blender, and so it was a little bit hard to not want to blend all this in right away because the Perfector does that at the end, so I didn't really have to work very hard to do this. So I just put a little bit on, and then I'm going to go ahead and use the Aura. I've been trying this on a few of my clients, actually before I got my kit, because I just got that last night. And so I was putting it on them, and honestly, the colors didn't match everybody great. But I put it on 4 people, and I didn't even use my brush because it wasn't sanitized. I washed my hands, I put it on with my fingers on them, and then I blended with just a little cheap makeup sponge, and then I threw that away. But 3 of those 4 people bought little starter kits. And I call a starter kit a quad. So with the 4 basics and then a 30-second hack brush and the Perfector. So I didn't feel like I was selling it. I was really just kind of sharing it, and they were like, hey, this is great. I want some. And that's actually how my client Deb twisted my arm to sign up, because she's like, Vanessa, you need to sign up because I have to get this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready. I was still researching. Okay, so I put some of the shadow contour, which looks very, very dark. You don't need a lot of it, but I like to just kind of push that in an upward motion. Don't like to go down with any contour unless we're on the neck, which I'll show you in a second. So I got this nice zit right there. I'm gonna go right over it. Sorry, Erin, my esthetician, if she's watching, she's probably gonna cringe that I'm sticking makeup on after my wonderful facial. And then you can use the same contour. I also have this walnut contour, so I'm actually going to use that up here. Just not quite as dark. And then I'm going to go back to the stone, and I'm going to do just a really thin little line right on my jawline. And then I'm going to blend that down. I have a couple of little, I don't know if you can see that, but I have developed hormonal acne in my 40s, which is kind of crazy. But it's actually pretty good. It's for this time of the month, I'm surprised that it's not worse. So I want you to kind of look like, I look like a clown, right? It's a little bit obnoxious. Now here's where I like to dampen my perfector and blend all that together. So I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, so I dampened it. This is actually a beauty blender that I had. I haven't opened the perfector. I'm sure that will be amazing. But I like to use the pointier side of the egg shape and do all the light blending first. So wherever I put the lighter color. And it's kind of a stippling motion. I do have fine lines, especially around my eyes, and I feel like it just softens it a lot quicker. So I just kind of stipple that. And then I flip it around, and then that's when I do the contour. And I still kind of go in a little bit of an upward motion. You don't want to drag that down because we're trying to make a natural looking shadow. If you drag it down, it's just going to make you look like you're a little gaunt, and it'll also drag down your cheeks. And we're trying to do the opposite of that, right? So there we go. And then along my jaw. And then this is when I go back, and once I open the brushes and I get a little bit, the detail brush, I'll probably use that for under my eyes and on my pimples. But right now, I'm going to use my finger, and I'm going to use a little bit of Moonlit, and I'm going to put that right in here. I like using my finger here because the warmth of my skin, my finger is just getting it to kind of blend a little bit quicker. I'm going to grab my beauty blender again, just make sure that's all good. I have a little redness around my nose, so I'm going to take a little bit of that Aura. Aura has a little bit of a yellow tint to it. The Sunlit would probably work great too. I just have this in the palette, so I grabbed it. And then I have a little detail brush. It's just my own from a makeup company that I used to sell years ago. So I'm just going to touch up my little pimples that I don't like. This giant pimple, I think I'll save that for last. That was a little crazy. Sometimes I'll take a little bit of loose powder. I haven't opened the vanilla dust yet, but I'll take a little bit of loose powder and kind of dab it on top of where I've just touched that tiny bit of concealer. I feel like it seals it in there a little bit more. Okay, this one is nutso, but let's cover that a little bit. That's not bad. I think that I am the type of person that focuses a lot on detail, so I can get carried away pretty quick.